Welcome to the Hyperpolyglot Activist, Learn Languages, Make a Difference. My name is Dr. Carlos Diablo Lopez, and today we're here to elucidate the difference between Catalan and Valencian, between Serbian and Bosnian, Ladino and Spanish. Now, do they count as instances of the same language, or do they count as different languages? What's the truth of the matter? Let's break it down. What we normally call languages, and we should actually call them named languages because they do not exist in the world out there. They are always named after the fact, cannot be defined in strictly linguistic terms, meaning they cannot be defined grammatically, lexically, and or structurally. It is impossible to determine precisely where a quote-unquote language leaves off and another one begins, based on mere linguistic grounds. This distinction is ultimately political, as I explained, for instance, in the video series, A Critical History of Spanish, which you can check in the link above. Nothing purely linguistic went into making Spanish Spanish, or into making Catalan Catalan, or Bosnian Bosnian. Therefore, separability and nameability of languages fall beyond the scope of linguists. Linguists cannot adjudicate one or two language disputes. Linguists, if they are grammarians, for instance, can only concern themselves with each speaker's unique personal language and mental grammar as manifested through their structured lists of lexical and grammatical features and subdivided in the lattice components, lexicon, phonology, morphosyntax, and subcomponents, clitics, tenses, etc. Or linguists can, in some odd cases, discuss the historical and cultural factors that prevent an easy settlement of the question, or they can even act as citizen advisors on debates surrounding these questions. I have done this, for instance, apropos Ladino and Spanish. I have explained how Ladino or Judeo-Spanish, meaning the quote-unquote language spoken by the Jews who were expelled from the Iberian Peninsula in 1492, came to exist in diaspora and to crystallize in the Eastern Mediterranean due to the fact that those Jews were accepted by Bayezid II, which was a political decision, and then it evolved also in dialogical fashion with other socio-political and cultural decisions leading up to, for instance, the recent creation of the Judeo-Spanish Royal Academy in Tel Aviv, Israel. So what I did there was to explain the historical and cultural aspects that led to the evolution of Ladino as a named language. And based on that explanation, I could then advise citizens on debates surrounding these questions on public television and other fora. But ultimately, when it comes to adjudicating these disputes, linguists have to incur what the Hellenistic philosophers called epoche, which means cessation. Now, epoche was used in Hellenistic philosophy as a technical term that has been typically translated as the suspension of judgment, but also the withholding of assent. So a linguist cannot judge whether these entities are either one or two different languages, and the duty of a linguist, qua linguist, is to withhold assent. So there you go. The bottom line is that one or two language disputes cannot be adjudicated by linguists because ultimately these are cultural and political questions. All that linguists can do, qua linguists, is analyzing the particular idealects of specific speakers and the partial overlapping between those particular idealects. They can also discuss historical and cultural factors that have influenced how each of these linguistic entities has been called throughout history, Catalan, Valencian, etc. And finally, they can also play the role of citizen advisors in debates concerning language, names, and boundaries. I hope you found this video useful, and as always, thanks for watching.